Welcome to Pax Europiana. This is my statement to the NATO summit. I'm calling for NATO enlargement. We have to enlarge NATO, and this is very important. Sweden and Finland can only be the first step. We need to accelerate it, and please, Turkey, do not stop these beautiful countries to join. They are important allies. Do not play too hard, because what we should really achieve is that Kosovo as well joins NATO, and that Bosnia and also Austria join NATO together. Also Georgia and Ukraine must join NATO. We must be united in NATO. This is the way forward, and we have to do that. It is absolutely essential to get NATO enlarged. This is the best answer to the Russian war, and I call the EU to join NATO as well. And this is important for the next step of statehood, of nationhood, of US-style federal union for the European Union. And that's, I think, the best agenda now to make sure that all the countries who in the European Union, of course also Malta, Cyprus, Ireland, no question, but first of all, now the two important countries which have made this important decision already, but also Georgia, Ukraine, Moldova, they should also join NATO, and also then Kosovo and Austria and Bosnia, and ultimately Serbia will also turn to the West, and the dream of Djindjic will come true. It will join the Western world, Serbia as well, in NATO, and then only in EU. Because no other country should join now without the EU, without prior NATO membership. That was somehow exceptional kind of circumstances in the past, but Moldova, no. Ukraine, no. We have now this full-scale war. EU membership without NATO membership was possible for Ukraine, Moldova, Georgia before the escalation of the 2020 war. But now it happened to this wild escalation and this utter brutality. There can be no security for Eastern European countries and for Europe, if not together with our American and Canadian allies. So membership is absolutely essential. So NATO membership for Ukraine, for Georgia, for Kosovo, and for Austria, Malta, Cyprus, Ireland, for Bosnia, for Moldova, for all countries is very, very important. Yeah? And we need to get this done. Ahead of the summit, we should then abandon the 2008 appeasement policy of the Germans and of the French, which has led to so many disastrous war. And the blood of the Ukrainians, Georgians, Syrians is at their hands because they have opted for a policy of weakness, of submission to Russia, buying this energy, dirty energy, while claiming to be for climate change and then also against climate change. They have wasted 15 years in appeasing Russia and having bridge technology gas, which was funding Putin's rearmament. And now we have to face him down with our weapons in Ukraine and with Ukrainian lives at risk, and many of them dying for our failed policy since 2008. That was a tragic mistake of anti-Americanism, protectionism, of socialism, and of, unfortunately, also many conservatives, Christian Democrats, and especially the Social Democrats, obviously, they have all failed, and that is very regrettable. What we need to do now is a more courageous politics again. That means enlargement of NATO and, of course, of mutual defense. Also, I say nuclear rearmament of Europe. We need to extend the French deterrent to all European Union countries, co-fund that. It's absolutely important. Also then to build a credible military deterrence in Europe again, like we had it in the Cold War, and also to supply effectively Ukraine with all the weapons, and also prepare NATO intervention west of the Dnieper and for the liberation of Kherson and Zaporizhia, because both of them need to be liberated, both these oblasts need to be liberated until that ceasefire can come. So that's very important. That's the agenda for peace in Europe from Pax Europiana. And we need to cut Russia out of the European economic system completely. That means no trade, no energy purchases, no uranium, no gas, completely out. And we need a massive effort of funding by debt-funded transition of the energy system towards the Western European and the West, basically, by Mercosur conclusion, by TTIP conclusion, a free trade agreement with the Gulf Cooperation Council, and obviously massive alternative energy and a change of our energy pattern towards sustainability And obviously also where it's possible, we need to reactivate coal, but clean coal. We need to reactivate nuclear, clean nuclear, safe nuclear according to European standards and not Russian standards, not Russian coal, not Russian gas. Never forget, it's under terrible conditions. They exploit the nature and harm the nature and reckless technology. We do it European technology, European way of coal, European way of nuclear, and that's safe and secure and clean. So here is the end of the Russian power over Central Europe, and we have to have this courage in a 7th sanction package to get this done by the EU. But also EU enlargement, a big transition package, a new debt package, 1.5 trillion, and of course the enlargement of NATO. That's the agenda. If we cannot pack it all in the Madrid summit and in the G7 summit, let's do a second summit in September, like we did it in Wales in 2014. There will be the summer offensive over, and it will be a terrible bloody summer in Ukraine. And then everybody will remember this video and say we should have done it already back then, because only by greater unity of the EU, the NATO, the Eurozone, OECD, our institutions, we can impress Putin. We can show him how, and his elites, how useless his brutality is, that we are much more united once we have mobilized all our resources. We have this industrial common effort which will lead to success, and we are very strong as a united West. That's my call here ahead of the NATO summit. Thanks a lot for watching. Please enlarge NATO and please invite Austria and Kosovo, Bosnia, Sweden, Finland, and also Moldova, Ukraine and Georgia. And let's confront Putin and let's show him that he cannot win. And most importantly, let's pave the way for the EU here and Kosovo and Georgia, Ukraine to join NATO. It should be also the EU directly to join NATO. That's the best way ahead. And all the countries will be then forced to ask themselves, do they want to really be a responsible part of the Western world as EU and NATO member, or somehow like Switzerland being outside? And I think also Austria will opt for being a responsible part of the West, fully inside NATO and EU. Thanks a lot. More to come from Pax Europiana, and good luck with the NATO summit. More videos to come shortly. Bye.